the Alabama Crimson Tide.
Off to the inside, intercepted Alabama, touchdown run.
And everything college and high school sports. Now, let's join Andy, Brett, Randy, and Luke for this edition of Sports Blitz Live.
Hello, everybody, and welcome into Sports Blitz Live here on this Tuesday. Brett and Luke with you for a couple hours tonight, and we'll take your phone calls at 256-234-6221. We'll take your comments on Facebook Live. Our program brought to you by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air, and been a long time partner of our program, both of them, and can't do it without them every Tuesday night. And of course, we want to hear from you out there, wherever it is that you're tuning in, watching, listening, whatever it is that you might be doing. Luke, got to kick off with you, man. You talk about striking the lucky ticket, I guess. Well, it's not like you won them, but you paid for them, and you bought tickets a long time ago, and you plan to go to the Final Four with your son, and he lives out in Arizona, and lo and behold, Alabama makes the Final Four. If you'd have known they were going to do that, you'd bought tickets a long time ago.
Oh, yeah, I would have bought more tickets and better seats and everything. It was just serendipity. I bought the tickets for my son for Christmas, and he's going to be at Arizona State, and I just thought, this is great. I'll fly out there. And then my thinking is, I go to the Final Four with him, and I said, hey, you just take the tickets to the championship game, take a date, take a friend, do whatever you want to. If Alabama wins, I got bad news. I got bad news maybe for him and his friend. I'm going to need both seats. As stressed out as I'm going to be.
Well, worked out great for you guys. Now, both teams from the state of Alabama have finally topped that last hurdle, getting to the Final Four. I remember in 19 what an awesome opportunity it was. Hate that I didn't go. Now looking back, I'm kind of glad I wasn't the way that game ended, but still for the experience to be able to go. You guys will be playing, I think probably unquestionable the best team from the start of the year to now in UConn. Purdue may say they got a little something to say about that, but hey, look, if you're gonna win a national championship, you gotta play the best, and so you get to watch Alabama and UConn in game number 2. It'll be Purdue, NC State. Look, I was going to start with that. When was the last time the men and women had two schools, they're both of their teams, UConn, NC State, both men and women? I don't know.
Has that ever happened? I know UConn, I think.
UConn probably
UConn's
has.
won it both in the same year, I think. So, it may have happened before, but it's very strange. And, UConn's going to be a thing. And, look, I'm like, I wanted to go to the Final Four anyway, but I definitely would have gone had I known Alabama was going anyway. And
right.
It's just one of those things you want to be there. And I don't care if we get beat. That's one thing that worries me is that as Alabama fans, if you're like me, you're so euphoric that you did this because you took the lid off. It's a glass ceiling. Right. You break through it, and then all of a sudden you feel like every year, okay, we're a threat to get there. Well, you lose in the first round, no matter what. You're like, okay, maybe next year we can get in there and make our run. It's happened for South Carolina. It's happened for Mississippi State. I can tell you right now, I'm buddies with Bart Heisch, and he made it in '94. And he'll never buy a beer in Starkville again. Right. He is. Everybody knows him for being on that team in '94. Sure. So you always remember that moment. And it's just a ton of fun. It's one of the more difficult things to do.
Tennessee's never been before. Again, going back to Auburn in 19, Auburn's basketball program until Bruce Pearl got there was lacked a lot to be desired. It had flashes in the pan. I was at Auburn in 99 when we went 29-4 and got a number 1 seed in the tournament, and went to the Sweet 16 that year and felt like we had a chance to go to the Final Four. And it's hard. Basketball is just hard. You think about NC State right now. If they don't hit a miraculous 3 in the semifinal game of the ACC tournament against Virginia, we're not even talking about them. And then they go on this run, and here they are in the final. It's great. Basketball is such a crazy sport in the fact that the thing can rim out on you. There's just so much that can happen.
The thing about NC State is I think that's both the beautiful and awful thing because NC State did steal a bid from somebody. And you could say,
they made the
well,
most of it.
they've proved they should have been in there. No, that's not really the case. Again, I'm fine with NC State in it because it's not like it's George Mason to me.
Right.
I'm like, okay, I know one of the listeners on Auburn Blitz was talking about how I must not like this Final Four because it's not for a blue.
I think he was just ribbing you.
I know, but I do. These are 4 power teams. Now, UConn isn't in a power conference necessarily, but they're probably the best program in the country.
Oh, I think they're the most heralded of the 4 there. I mean,
they hadn't won a title since like '99, and now they have 5 or 6 of them. So, yeah, they've been the most consistent program in the country, I think, for 25 years for the most part. And then NC State from the ACC, Purdue. They've been really good. Now, yeah, they've lost in the first round to Fairleigh Dickinson the previous year, but they've got the most.
They've been on the cusp. They've been on the cusp for a while.
And this one's much better to me. Of course, I probably would have liked a little more had Duke been able to get in there. I probably would have because it's still.
But they're just not the Duke of.
They aren't, and it is something is taken off of that. But I do feel like it's just a milestone that once you eclipse this, it's like a weight's lifted off your shoulders.
Oh, no doubt.
And Tennessee's got to feel bad. They had a 9 or 11 point lead on Purdue. And they
only have one player, man. It literally, Dalton Connect can't do anymore. He scored 37 points. Nobody on that team helps. Even
Ziegler was awful.
Well, Ziegler's been awful most of the year. In my opinion, outside of defense, I thought Janai Broome was a better defender than him. If you look at Ziegler and look at what he did versus what Janai Broome's done all year, but whatever on that.
But they also do. Look.
But Vescovy hadn't been anything like he was last year.
No, that's true. And I'll say this though, and this is going to be something to watch in the Final Four because I think enough people have brought it up now. They aren't officiating Zach Edey correctly. There's no way a man that's 6'7", 300 pounds. I think he's only got like 7 total or 8 total fouls in the whole tournament.
Yeah.
Something stupid. Let's get real. He's going to accidentally elbow somebody right in the face because he's so tall. It's stupid the way.
Maybe the other way around too. People hanging all over him, doing all that kind of stuff.
I agree, but he is drawing more fouls than anybody else. He's taking a ton of free. Now, granted, he's big, and so it is tough to officiate him. But it doesn't mean you don't call 3 seconds. Is 3 seconds not a thing anymore, and I just don't know it?
It is.
If it's still a thing, you can see evidence after evidence. He camps out in that lane. And look, I'm not anti-Purdue. I like him. I think he's a freak of nature. I'd like to see him play. I'm going to see him play. But I'm just telling you, there's something wrong. If I were Tennessee again, I can see where they'd be upset. It's like, look, it's tough enough.
Well, Tennessee just needs to make some shots.
They need to make some shots. And Rick Barnes does have a knack for not getting there.
But he's gotten further this year.
He's gotten further this year, and he did take Texas one time.
He did. His mark was he couldn't get past the second round. I think Bruce Pearl, he's been on a couple of shows. He was on Dan Patrick yesterday, and, kind of makes – the one thing I like about Bruce is he don't mind ribbing himself and getting on there and laughing about certain things and all. And I don't think he runs from anything. He said, look, and he told Dan Patrick, you lose to Yale in the first round. What do you say? But he said, look, let's not take away, let's not talk about the things we didn't do to lose the game. Let's talk about, what Yale did. And he said, Yale played a good game against us. He said, I don't want to disrespect, and I thought that was nice. Again, he said, I don't think we need to disrespect their effort. He said they came out and played their rear end off. He said last year Princeton did the same thing against Arizona, a 15 versus a 2. We saw, who was it that knocked Virginia out last year? It was a 13-4 deal or whatever.
UMBC knocked them out as a 1.
They knocked them out as a 1. But so we've seen, and didn't Purdue, wasn't Purdue a 1 last year when Fairleigh Dickinson beat them? Mm-hmm. And forever this tournament never saw a number 1 seed lose to a 16. Now we've seen it happen twice in the last few years. So there is a lot of this sport has changed. I think because the sport has changed has allowed both Auburn and Alabama to say they were able to make a run to the Final Four. If you don't have the transfer portal and the things, because the Blue Bloods, if you want to look at it, Auburn and Alabama both, Luke, have been much better than Kentucky and Tennessee over the last 5 to 7 years. And I think both of our programs, have elevated themselves to another level. And Duke's not the Duke without Mike Krzyzewski. You look at Kentucky with Calipari. I mean, North Carolina has its L's. Kansas went out early. I mean, we can compete with anybody in the country now. Every year, it's just not a flash in the pan. Nate Oates isn't going anywhere. Bruce Pearl's not going anywhere. They're both going to recruit at a high level. Both have high expectations. Now, basketball is just different, and I think because of the rules, it's actually benefited our two programs.
I think so. And look, I think it's obviously sort of benefited UConn one way or the other. They're about to win 2 in a row, which is bananas in this climate. But
they got a good coach.
They do. They have a good coach. Hurley is a heck of a coach. But I think that it is all about styles too. I mean, Alabama and Auburn have two coaches with pretty big personalities and distinct styles, and they just make.
I think they both
attractive.
fit their universities too,
and I think they both just make the schools more attractive. And it also is probably not hurting that Calipari, his shtick has gotten a little bit old. It seems like, and I mean, I know they're still getting recruits, but it feels like all the recruits that get there is sort of like I'm just here to get to the pros.
I just think the one and done system may be on life support in the current state of basketball, because that was the heyday, and you go out and get 5 McDonald's All-Americans, you put them on the floor, and you have more talent, and if you could get them to jail, you were almost unbeatable. Now what you're seeing is older, more veteran teams through the transfer portal being able to go further in the tournament, and they match up against these teams like a Kentucky that have 5 starters on the floor that are 18, 19 years old. Look, they're playing against 22 and 23-year-old grown men. And look, that team may be better athletically and skill-wise, but from an experience-wise and knowing how to play the game, the other teams may have the advantage. And that's why we've seen a San Diego State. That's why we've seen Alabama. That's why we've seen Auburn. That's why we've seen, numerous teams that have older players do better in this tournament of late.
And that's why it's also much more difficult to predict where it's going to be, because you don't know a lot about a lot of these teams. It used to be, an old adage, just you don't know what you're getting in the tournament, whatever. But Kentucky always had the better players, and they'd usually have 3 or 4 seniors, and Indiana would or whoever, UCLA. And so, but now, again, with all this turnover, if you do come across a veteran team and you are a younger squad, and you haven't seen these teams play a lot, I mean, it's going to be tough.
I'll tell you what I look at, and I'll use myself as an example. When we played Kentucky, I always said, well, that's a L. Just like maybe we can get them on a bad day and we can play out of our mind. And I don't look at them we've beaten them as much or more than they've beaten us in the last 5 to 6 years. Same with Alabama. I don't think Alabama looks at Kentucky the same way as I don't think any of these teams really in this league. South Carolina, any of them look at Kentucky like there's some unbeatable force out there. If anything, they go on the floor going, if we play at home, we expect to win the game. Now, we go to Rupp, it could be different, but they even set a record.
3 in a row.
Lost 3 in a row for the first time in school history. And the Rupp Arena's been around since 1974 or whatever it is. So, hey, look, I mean, this world's changed. The whole landscape of college basketball, college football. We're going to talk a lot about that tonight here on the show. We're just getting started. We got a bunch of comments coming in. Our resident, John, he's become the most loyal Sports Blitz viewer. He never misses Auburn Blitz. He's a big Alabama fan, but he never misses Auburn Blitz, and he talks to us the whole game or the old show, and here he is tonight. So we appreciate you, John, for joining us, and everybody else out there. We're up against our first break. Stay tuned. More to come right after this.
Sportz Auto Sales, Highway 280 in Kellyton, Alabama, is home-owned and home-operated. If you're looking for tires, they have it. If you're looking for a vehicle, they have them. Great selection. Always out looking for more just for you, the customer. And if you're looking for service, whether you buy the vehicle from them or whether you buy the vehicle somewhere else, they do service work and got a great crew there. Keep us in mind. Don't you go by Sportz Auto Sales on Highway 280 in Kellyton today.
What's the verdict?
Can't fix your heat pump. Need a new one.
Uh-oh. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking Daikin.
Call on Kevin Kill in Sunshine Heating and Air at 256-825-4849, Central Alabama's premier Daikin dealer.
So what's he thinking?
Oh, he's thinking Daikin.
Daikin, one of the top selling in the world.
Now I'm thinking Daikin.
Daikin. Comfort for life. Red Flag Pest Control is Central Alabama's best in pest control with hometown service in Lake Martin and now the greater Montgomery area. When you see pests, throw down the red flag. Termites, bed bugs, carpenter bees, mosquitoes, or general pests. Red Flag gets the job done at the right price for your home or business. At Lake Martin, call 888-943-0353 or Montgomery 334-265-1813. Red Flag, the best in pest control in Central Alabama.
Russell Do-It Center and building supply stores have the tools and materials to get the job done right, whether you're a professional contractor or just a weekend do-it-yourselfer. With everyday customer conveniences like a drive-through lumberyard, price match promise, and our Best Rewards program, each of our 9 locations offer top brands and building materials like lumber, hardware, tools, paint, lawn and garden, and much more. Visit today and see what Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply can help you build tomorrow.
Hello, I'm Karen Chanel, your State Farm agent in Alexander City, Alabama, and the greater Lake Martin area. I want to talk to you a little bit today about your discounts. How many of you are entitled to discounts that you may or may not be receiving? One of the easiest discounts on your homeowner's insurance is that of having a fire extinguisher. Coupled with a deadbolt lock and a smoke alarm, that gives you an automatic discount on your homeowner's policy.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area a team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice. Bice Motors.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sports Blitz Live, presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill. And Sunshine, Heating and Air, the rain has arrived here in Alex City, and as I say that, it starts to die down. Well, it's just on time. So anyway, everybody be safe out there if you're traveling around tonight. I have some bad weather coming through the state, so make sure you stay safe out there on the road. Let's go to the phone lines. Eric McKinley, Mortgage Pro Hotline. Welcome in our first call. Go ahead, caller.
Go ahead, caller.
Don't listen to your TV.
Listen to us, bud. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Hey, don't listen to your TV.
Listen to the phone.
Turn your TV down.
Yes, I'm here.
All right, let me explain something to all of you out there, and I'm not trying to be. I really not. I'm not trying to be a jerk. I really not.
I know.
When you call the show, listen on the phone. You're watching a delayed for about 10 seconds, and if you're waiting for a response from one of us, it's going to be delayed, and it just doesn't work. So it's the best way I can put it. Again, I apologize. I didn't hang up on you because I didn't want to talk to you. I hung up on you to explain what we're doing. So to any of our callers,
if you had left him on there, you could have heard what you were saying.
I could have.
It echoed back.
Well, that's kind of why I hung up. I got tired of hearing myself. And so, but anyway, we'll try again here in just a second. But when you call them, again, every once in a while we need to give the tutorial, right?
We do.
And this happens on all talk shows. It isn't just ours. So when you're watching, we love it. Mute it. Hear us on the phone, and we'll talk real time. So, and I think we'll try it again. We're going to give this one more shot. Caller, go ahead.
This is the old pro.
The old pro.
Oh, hey, pro, what you doing, bro?
I'm doing just right. I think Luke knows who I am. Luke, I'm glad you're going to the game.
I am?
Yeah, I'm glad you're going. And my question is, when will we all get tall enough that the goal will be raised to 12 feet?
listen, I think it'd make the game kind of fun, right? If you dunked on a 12-foot goal, that's something. You still with us?
He's with you, but he's watching TV. I quit. Y'all handle it for
Still
me.
here.
Bro.
Sporty's coming up pretty soon with the Masters.
That's right. Hey, Pro, how excited were you when Mississippi State went to the Final Four in '94?
I was very excited, and if the big guy hadn't been quite so slow, and we would have gone to the final game. But and they had a good guard that year and all that. But anyway, I was tickled to death. I watched it on TV.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. I just happen to have 2 tickets for my son, and so Alabama just happens to be going, so I'm thrilled to death.
Are you in
Listen, you guys did a great job, and I guess you didn't answer me if we need to move the goal a little higher.
Yeah, I'm all for it. I think it'd be fun. Let's do the regular Final Four, and then the next week let's do a whole nother tournament with a 12-foot goal. See how it turns out.
Maybe we won't get beat.
Yeah, maybe 11 and a half.
Yeah, got to ease your way up, don't you?
Right. Yeah.
And if you ever want to play,
you did a great job. And I'll let you go.
Thank you, Pro.
I mean,
yeah, and to put it in pros terms, that way, what you do is let's start out on 12-foot goals.
Let's start out
and
on 12-foot goals. And as we get older.
And as we,
oh, I'm sorry, we don't go.
And as we get older, you move the goal down a little bit, just like you do. You tee off from the whites,
right?
And you work your way down to the yellows,
That's
and then
right.
before you know it, you're down there where pro tees off right at the fringe.
That may have been one of the more interesting calls we've had in 20 years. I can just tell you that. Anyway, we appreciate it. We appreciate all of you out there watching and listening and calling and echoing and everything else that goes on. Hey, Auburn, here's another thing. I know we've already said this, but Auburn and Alabama, the last 2 teams to make the Final Four. I mean, where's Kentucky? Where's Tennessee? Where's Arkansas? Where's Florida? I mean, basketball kind of runs through the state right now. And, I had somebody ask me the other day, said, well, would you be okay trading coaches if Nate Oates were at Auburn and Bruce Pearl at Alabama? I said, absolutely. I mean, look, they're both 2 different personality guys. I think they're both very passionate in different ways. But I'd have no problem Nate Oates coaching Auburn. I think he's a better fit in Alabama. And I think you've said this before, you'd have no problem Bruce Pearl coaching Alabama. No. I think you were, y'all were kind of upset by hanging on to Anthony Grant for an extra year because you think you may have had a chance at him.
I think we would have had a chance at him if but they made the decision. And look, all's well that ends well. I'm thrilled to death with Nate Oates, and he's got a little edge about him. But if you had come up as a high school math teacher, and 10 years ago, you're coaching at Romulus High,
right?
And now everybody's still bringing that up, like, right. Oh, what do you know? You're just a math teacher. He's like, well, I just took this team to the Final Four the first time ever. Right. What do you do? And he's been to 3 Sweet 16s in the last 4 years.
That's pretty impressive.
I mean, that's pretty incredible. And look, you talk about things run through this state, and I think that's true. Look, Tennessee's never been to a Final Four. Arkansas hadn't been to one in a long time, and they may lose their coach. Herrick Musselman is out there apparently going to interview for USC.
It sounds like that whole program has just been.
I think they have become disenchanted with him very, very quickly. I can tell you, I know
he may have become disenchanted with them.
Well, I think it worked both ways. But I have an Arkansas friend that has been telling me for years, because they've gone to the Elite 8 or Sweet 16. Nate Oates sitting in his cat. I'm like, well, we've won the tournament, won the league, and he's like, yeah, but none of that matters. And now we've made the Final Four, and they didn't make anything at all. And I mean, he's just beside himself. And It's a tough look because, especially look, if you're Arkansas right now, I know you got baseball. I understand.
And they are very good in baseball.
And they are very good. But, in football, you hadn't peed a drop in a while.
Terrible.
And then in basketball, if you're not even in the tournament.
Outside of baseball, they don't have anything. And I'll say this, again, you look down, I don't know that Auburn or Alabama would trade their coaches for anybody in this league. And I wouldn't trade for Rick Barnes. I wouldn't trade for the kid at Florida. I think he's an up-comer. I think Golden's good. And, Bruce Pearl mentored him. They're real close.
I like the South Carolina coach a lot. I mean, he obviously turned them around.
Wouldn't trade for him.
No, I mean,
wouldn't trade for Chris Jans. Wouldn't trade for
Chris Beard.
No, I wouldn't trade for any of those guys. And I think we're in a great situation. And Auburn wins 24 to 27 games a year on average now. I think Alabama numbers are right there with them. And so, 4 SEC titles between both schools each. Over the last several years. Now both have gone to the Final Four.
And then Samford and UAB also make it, and then Samford's got Bucky Ball. And honestly, if it weren't for a blown call, they at least have a good shot to win that game against Kansas.
Where does he end up next is the question.
I assume Vanderbilt at least made overtures, but I'm willing to bet he was like, I can do a little better and do a little better with somewhere that's probably going to contribute more to my NIL coffers that he needs to. If you don't have NIL, you're not going to be worth a darn, so it's not going to matter.
But and I think Auburn and Alabama too have stepped up in paying their coaches. Bruce Pearl and Nate Oates both are top 5, basically ranked in the country. That to me. Next step for Alabama's facilities. I think Auburn took that step several years ago and said we're going to build a brand new arena, and we're going to sculpt it to where it's us. It's unique. It only seats 9,500 people, but still, it's one of the toughest places in the country to play. You got a great coach in there. It's a hard ticket to get. Auburn pays Bruce Pearl top 5 money. They're getting top 5 results really year in and year out. Alabama's got a great coach. They just gave him a raise. They just made it to the Final Four. I think the push now, I think you'll probably see it be looked at again pretty soon on what to do with Coleman Coliseum. Had a Bama friend of mine, I actually have another one outside of you,
I'll be there.
That said, look, people can say what they want. They said, Auburn, we got to do something about our arena. And talked to Brian Williams at the AHSAA finals. And he and I were back there in the break room, and he said, man, because we were just laughing and cutting up about Auburn, Alabama, and he said, look, man, he said, we got to do something about our arena. And so it's former players, fans, they know it's about time to make an investment.
And look, I'm all for it as long as it doesn't put a dent in the NIL. If you have a great arena and a junk product, it doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't. I know you got to do it hand in hand, but
it's just tough right now. I'm all for it, and I think this run will help a ton.
Right.
It really has. Look, I know Yay Alabama, which is Alabama's collective, has come out with an opportunity for everybody. If you donate anything, any amount to Yay Alabama between whenever it was decided they go to the Final Four till Wednesday, till tomorrow, then you have an opportunity to win 2 tickets. So, I threw $100 in there. Look, it ain't going to help a lot, but, they said any amount. And so I said, I got 100. I hope that gets me a 5-star.
If 2,000 people put 100 in.
Exactly. All of a sudden, then you've got some money.
That's exactly right.
I just went ahead and did that.
Can we do that here at Sportz Blitz? Can we ask the audience?
Let's just get in there.
Hey, we can get better mic stands. We can get better lockers.
Well, think about this.
You broke that one before the show.
I know.
So, we need another one.
Think about this, that, college athletics now is really the only sport where genuinely the fans pay the salary. You can say in the NFL or all these others but
the corporations do that.
Yeah, and their sponsors get
right.
We have to give the money to the NIL. In turn, they give that money to the players.
Right.
We are paying them.
There's no doubt.
It's weird. We need to figure out a better way to do this. I don't know what that way is. I'm just saying there's something funky about it. And I know we're going to go to break. When we come back, I would love to talk more Alabama Final Four. Happy to. But I do think we also ought to talk about Caitlin Clark last night.
Oh, we're going to. We talked about it on Auburn Blitz. We'll do that when we come back. Everybody stay tuned. More to come right after this.
Hillaby Towers is an affordable senior citizens community located in Alexander City on Highway 22 East. Spacious one-bedrooms are available now. Great location, peaceful setting, comfortable living where pets are allowed and utilities are included. Call today to find out more information on Alexander City's best-kept secret, 256-329-0552. That's Hillaby Towers in Alexander City.
SignSource is your local vendor for commercial and residential sign manufacturing and installation. We offer all kinds of lighted and non-lighted signage, from retail signs, LED message centers, event banners, vehicle wraps, the whole spectrum. We also offer service and repair on existing signs, as well as retrofitting to LED or installation of outsourced signage. We have the knowledge necessary to fulfill all of your signage needs in the short or long term. Visit signsourcenow.com to get started.
Satterfield Outdoor Living is Lake Martin's trusted friend for your outdoor land and leisure needs. We're the region's authorized Skag mower dealer for residential and commercial lawns and offer all the small engine accessories you need. With top lines of Steel, Echo, Shindaiwa, Husqvarna, and Metabo products that can tame any landscape. Satterfield is also your grill headquarters with Big Green Egg Grill. And our pros service everything in-house and back up all sales. Get the Satterfield Outdoor difference on Highway 280 right across from Tallapoosa Ford.
You want the best opportunity to be successful in life. You deserve that opportunity. Well, you just happens to be in our motto. Central to you, central to your success. Your future is right now. Don't wait. Make your dreams a reality by enrolling at Central Alabama Community College. Register today at cacc.edu.
There's a new standard for the marine industry on Lake Martin, being set by Momentum Marine Lake Martin. Momentum Marine is located at the Blue Creek Bridge on Highway 49 South. Stop by soon and meet Les and the staff. While you're here, take a look at our extensive line of boats. Momentum Marine carries Crest, Manitou, Centurion, Monterey, and Robalo boats. Whatever your boating needs or dreams, the pros in Momentum will help you find the perfect boat. Be sure to ask about our brand new rental fleet. Stop by Momentum soon and experience the difference. Let Momentum Marine show you how to experience freedom on the water.
Alex City Internal Medicine and Nephrology and Weight Loss Center provides optimum care for the whole person. Dr. Dimo Popov specializes in the prevention and diagnosis of high blood pressure, kidney disease, diabetes, and acute and chronic conditions. Our weight loss clinic offers lipo shots and a guide to healthy weight loss. Alex City Internal Medicine and Nephrology and Weight Loss Center, where lifestyle changes are made.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sports Blitz Live here on this stormy Tuesday evening. Want to make sure everybody stays safe out there wherever it is that you are. Several comments from John said, talk show calling 101. He didn't have a session on that. Musselman ain't taking his shirt off anymore. No, if he will, he's probably going to do it for somebody else. Let's shift over. We
got a call real quick.
Okay, well maybe this one will be a little bit better. Eric McKinley, Mortgage Pro Hotline. Caller, you're on there.
Yeah, I'm here.
We're glad you're here.
I'm the new pro.
You're the new pro.
Listen, this is David from Northport. I called last week and I talked to the fellas about jersey numbers.
Yes, sir.
How come the guys from Grand Canyon were able to wear 6s and 7s and 8s? And then we played North Carolina, and they had a guard that was wearing number 7 and a forward that was wearing number 8. Have the rules changed in college basketball about jersey numbers?
No, I found out. I did a little research, and we figured it out. The schools can make a they can ask for permission from the NCAA to wear jerseys above 5 or 6, actually. And so that's how Grand Canyon and North Carolina and anybody else was able to get, I guess, not away with it because they asked permission, but to make it legal.
So those have to be decided by the NCAA on an individual case basis, and you have to file some kind of petition or something?
That's right. That's correct.
My bet is they do it at the beginning of the year.
But that's how it happened.
And it's just settled. Now, I'm with you. First of all, it wasn't an astute observation. I didn't even
None
pay
of us.
attention to that.
He stumped all of us. He stumped Gary Harris. He stumped us. We didn't.
But look, I'm. Why have the rule if all they got to do is ask for an exception?
Well, why has the NCAA ever gotten anything right?
No, they don't.
Okay.
And I mean, look, they screwed up. How far they screwed up the three-point
line in the girls' game?
That's insanity. But yeah, that is an interesting observation. I did not know that.
Well, I could see you having to petition your conference like the SEC, but I mean, the NCAA shouldn't be even bothering with this. You know,
Well, they make all the money from the NCAA basketball tournament. They should be bothered with something. You know, they should work somehow.
Right.
Well, listen, I'm the guy that predicted that North Carolina would beat Alabama, but I was pretty close on the score. I said 88-86 in overtime, but it wound up 89-87 with Bama winning, so I'll take that.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you, these last two games have been a lot of fun for Alabama fans. North Carolina game, I mean, North Carolina was up 8 at the half.
R.J. Davis couldn't hit anything.
And R.J. Davis, he did. He had a bad game. Alabama has played better defense in the tournament, but R.J. Davis just had an off night.
He had some wide open shots.
He just had an off night. It happens. And if you want to advance in the tournament, you have to have somebody else pick up the slack.
That's right.
And, Grant Nelson just decided to play like a star towards the end, and he was just doing everything he could. And I think that's the beautiful
That was a fabulous game by him. I mean, I'm not sure I've ever seen an Alabama player have a more complete game in such a high-stakes situation than Nelson had that night.
Yeah, what Jimmy Stein and I have said on Locked On Bama is those were literally the two most important games in Alabama history in back-to-back games. The first one you get by North Carolina, and so you break that Sweet 16 barrier that people were talking about with Nate Oates. You get to the Elite Eight, you win that game, you have a chance to go to the Final Four, and they do it. But what the beautiful thing is that for this tournament, Alabama's had, Mark Sears has been consistent. He's going to get 21 to 23 points every time he plays, and now he might have 0 in the first half, but he'll get 21 in the second. Or he'll have 21 in the first and get 0 in the – that's just what he's going to do. But Nick Pringle had his moment in the sun against Clemson. Grant Nelson certainly had his moment in the sun against North Carolina.
You have to do it that way.
Rylan Griffin's been steady Eddie through this whole thing. Aaron Estrada has had some really nice moments. It's just been a joy to watch. These guys all have their own. Mo Diabate had a great game against Grand Canyon. I mean, it's just, all these guys have taken their time to – had their time in the sun, I should say, and it's been a lot of fun to watch.
Well, 2 questions about Mark Sears. Is he the best point guard in this whole tournament, and is he the best point guard ever at Alabama?
I think at this point, I certainly wouldn't have said it at the beginning of the season, but is he the best point guard in this tournament? I just don't know enough about all the other point guards, but I wouldn't trade him for anybody. Now, at this point, it's been one of those, all right, who are your all-time starting 5? We always have recency bias, but Mark Sears did just become the single-season scoring leader at Alabama.
He has to be in the list.
He'd be top, if you said, okay, let's do a top 6. Let's have a 6 so you can have 1 off the bench. I think he'd definitely be there. There are a lot of old-timers who would pick Enos Watley. He certainly could be in the conversation, but, maybe even Terry Connor, who was fantastic in his time. But, I think Mark Sears would definitely be on there. And, Brandon Miller came really close to setting the record last year. And now Mark Sears, he's about to obliterate it, honestly.
Well, all right. I'll let you guys go. Brett, I'm glad you got Luke with you tonight. He had a fellow with him last week that was having trouble staying awake.
He just told me about that.
Yeah, Scott's in bed now, so he probably not even seeing any of this.
And also, after I got off the phone with you last week, you wondered if I was the same David from Northport that ran into you at the concert.
Is that it?
I am.
That's awesome, buddy. Great concert.
Which concert?
Yeah,
Johnny told us.
It was.
That you said you didn't want to see because it don't have Steve Perry.
Yeah, if they don't have Steve Perry,
the guy's good though, dude. You got to give him credit. If you close your eyes, you're like, I think Steve Perry's up there. So, hey, David, thank you, brother.
He might be careful what you wish for with Steve Perry. He's probably in his mid-70s now. He may be bald and hunched over and walking with a cane, and he can't hit those high notes no more. So why not let a guy do it that can do it?
That's right, and he sounds just like him. Thank you, David. Appreciate your call, buddy.
See you, buddy.
All right. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide, buddy.
There you go. You can handle that for me. You know, to go back to that North Carolina game for a second. Hey, look, I mean, that's, again, the crazy thing about basketball. And I think R.J. Davis, he ended up finding ways to score at the end of the game, but he just couldn't hit. You know, if he's hitting a quarter of those wide open shots, you know, it's probably a different game. But that's the way it is. If you look at Auburn's run, they get past New Mexico State in the first round, had a 3 on the way. If it goes down, they beat Auburn.
Didn't they have somebody miss 2 out of 3 foul shots?
That's right, right. You remember when Florida in the first round had to throw up a half-court shot, and they made the daggum thing. They won the game. They ended up winning the national championship. They don't make the half-court shot.
Well, Alabama doesn't
They're
go
out.
their first Elite Eight if Antoine Petway doesn't make a runner in the lane against Illinois State.
I mean, there's always a play here and there. The North Carolina State, Virginia played in the ACC tournament. There's somebody else in the Final Four. It's not NC State if that shot's not made. So, but hey, you know, Grant Nelson willed his way in that game in the second half, and he's like, look, I'm just going to put the team on my back. And you know, sometimes you have to do that. You looked at Samir Dowdy in that game against Kentucky when Chumo Kiki was not available after the North Carolina game. You just find guys to step up, make plays, man. And
but that is what I mean. Look, that tells me North Carolina wasn't going to win it anyway. I mean, but if somebody couldn't step up, because they did have his name Cormac
Ryan.
Cormac Ryan, who had killed Alabama at Notre Dame.
Well, he killed him in the first half and then went cold in the second.
And then he just, you know, but now, granted, North Carolina was playing above their skis from the beyond the arc in the first half.
North Carolina had a stupid game plan. Now, I think if they hadn't hit so many threes in the first half, they wouldn't have come out and done what they did. They just kept shooting threes in the second half, and they couldn't make any of them. And their strength would have been to work the ball inside the Baycott. But, of course, Baycott missed a wide-open dunk.
Well, you know, I'll give some credit to Alabama there. They wore him. He missed 2 dunks that when he's not tired, he just crushes them.
I know it.
He was worn out.
Yeah.
And, I mean, you know, that may have been a case where being a COVID senior, it may have hurt him.
True.
Because he's a little bit older than all these guys.
Yeah, no doubt.
But he's only 20-something, so it shouldn't have mattered. But then the Clemson game, that's the other thing about this tournament that makes it so difficult. It doesn't really matter who you play. When you look at the Alabama plays College of Charleston, now they're sort of, you know, run-of-the-mill basketball team, so no problem. Then you play Grand Canyon, and if you watch that game, again, not complaining about the officials, but, boy, they let them swing, and it was everything but a fist fight. Every time down the court.
Right.
And it was one of those things where it's like, God, y'all need to tighten this up for both sides or somebody's going to really get hurt. And but so Alabama survived the rock fight.
Then you look at the Texas A&M Houston game where Texas A&M shot 46 free throws.
Yeah, that's insane.
Just on their own side.
Well, I think Grand Canyon had 40 in that game.
But you just never know what officials you're going to get.
And then North Carolina, which obviously has more NBA players than Alabama, but you know, they tried to get in Alabama style, and it didn't work. And then Clemson plays like a bull in a china shop. They have no explosiveness. There was one explosive play that I saw that Clemson had by that P.J. Hall. But otherwise, they duck their shoulders, and then they come at you, and they punched Alabama in the mouth. At the beginning, they had a 13-point lead.
Well, I knew that before that matchup even started that, you know, Clemson was going to be outmatched athletically. And, you know, they again, another one of those teams that was kind of riding a wave of momentum. And
well, now, Clemson had been a real roller coaster all year. They had a great first part of the year. They beat Alabama in Tuscaloosa, and it wasn't a fluke. I mean, they owned it. Then they had some bad moments. You know, I think they lost to Boston College in the ACC tournament, and then they picked it back up. And, you know, they beat – who'd they beat? They beat Baylor. They beat Arizona. They didn't mess around.
No, they didn't. Before we go to the next break, NIT's going on. Georgia's got a chance to go to the NIT final if they beat Seton Hall. I mean, Seton Hall had a 23-12 record this year. You know, they were right there on the cusp of making the NCAA tournament. And this Indiana State team, Luke, they've won 32 games. They're playing Utah. They're up 83-71.
Wow.
You know, what's going to end up happening? I mean, that Indiana State team's kind of been a storyline with that guy, kid with the glasses, and all.
Yeah.
He's pretty doggone good.
He's really good.
But an SEC team will have a chance to make it to the NIT final. We don't ever really talk about the NIT.
But I'll tell you, like, I don't even pay attention to the NIT until it gets to Madison Square Garden.
Right.
Then it's kind of fun. I mean, because honestly, it's the only college game in town.
Right.
For the next, I mean, until this weekend, then it's over. You know.
That's right.
That's. I was talking to Jimmy Stein about that. See, I'm a big anti-summer guy. I mean, I love the state of Alabama. But here in the summer, it's excruciatingly hot. You don't like the lake is like bathwater.
Right.
And there's pollen everywhere right now. And if it ain't pollen everywhere, it's raining so hard you can't even walk outside.
It's going to look like a yellow river.
Yeah,
out there.
and but this particular April, you've got I'm going to be at the Final Four this weekend. Then the next weekend, I'll probably go to A-Day. No, I'll probably go to A-Day. I'll probably take my daughter because it'll be a big thing. You know, there'll be a lot of people there for Kalen DeBoer's first A-Day. And so I get basketball, biggest basketball stage, and then I get a big football stage, and then I got the NFL draft, and then I got to go into hibernation for a while till football comes back around.
Don't want to get that skin parched too much by that sun in the summer. Robbie Avila is the kid's name for Indiana State. He's already got 17 points, 7 rebounds, and they're up 11 on Utah, 77-66 there in that NIT semifinal. And now you look at Georgia that will tip at around 8:30 tonight against Seton Hall. So that'll be interesting to see if Georgia. You know what, Mike White? Look, if you're going to go to the tournament, might as well win the daggum.
Well, right. Yeah, I mean, there's the only thing worse than going to the NIT is bowing out in the first round of the NIT.
Right.
And Alabama's done. And that's what sealed Anthony Grant's fate, by the way.
That was it.
Yeah.
Or was that Anthony Grant or was that
No.
That was Avery Johnson.
Avery Johnson.
Yeah, it was Avery Johnson. So
yeah.
Up against
Iceberg, Goldberg. It doesn't matter.
It's just glad they're gone.
Yeah.
Right. We got plenty of our. I told somebody the other day on our Auburn show that Auburn's got a Mount Rushmore of who you didn't want.
Yeah.
Tony Barbee, Sonny Galloway, and Brian Harsin. So I think everybody's got one that they've got all their famous people up, but we got one off to the side of people that we were glad to see exit stage left. So up against another break. Stay tuned. More Sports Blitz Live right after this.
Hillaby Towers is an affordable senior citizens community located in Alexander City on Highway 22 East. Spacious one-bedrooms are available now. Great location, peaceful setting, comfortable living where pets are allowed and utilities are included. Call today to find out more information on Alexander City's best-kept secret, 256-329-0552. That's Hillaby Towers in Alexander City.
Sign Source is your local vendor for commercial and residential sign manufacturing and installation. We offer all kinds of lighted and non-lighted signage, from retail signs, LED message centers, event banners, vehicle wraps, the whole spectrum. We also offer service and repair on existing signs, as well as retrofitting to LED or installation of outsourced signage. We have the knowledge necessary to fulfill all of your signage needs in the short or long term. Visit signsourcenow.com to get started.
Satterfield Outdoor Living is Lake Martin's trusted friend for your outdoor land and leisure needs. We're the region's authorized Skag mower dealer for residential and commercial lawns and offer all the small engine accessories you need with top lines of Steel, Echo, Shindaiwa, Husqvarna, and Metabo products that can tame any landscape. Satterfield is also your grill headquarters with Big Green Egg Grill, and our pros service everything in-house and back up all sales. Get the Satterfield Outdoor difference on Highway 280 right across from Tallapoosa Ford.
You want the best opportunity to be successful in life. You deserve that opportunity. Well, you just happens to be in our motto, central to you, central to your success. Your future is right now. Don't wait. Make your dreams a reality by enrolling at Central Alabama Community College. Register today at cacc.edu.
There's a new standard for the marine industry on Lake Martin, being set by Momentum Marine Lake Martin. Momentum Marine is located at the Blue Creek Bridge on Highway 49 South. Stop by soon and meet Les and the staff. While you're here, take a look at our extensive line of boats. Momentum Marine carries Crest, Manitou, Centurion, Monterey, and Robalo boats. Whatever your boating needs or dreams, the pros in Momentum will help you find the perfect boat. Be sure to ask about our brand new rental fleet. Stop by Momentum soon and experience the difference. Let Momentum Marine show you how to experience freedom on the water.
Alex City Internal Medicine and Nephrology and Weight Loss Center provides optimum care for the whole person. Dr. Dimo Popov specializes in the prevention and diagnosis of high blood pressure, kidney disease, diabetes, and acute and chronic conditions. Our weight loss clinic offers lipo shots and a guide to healthy weight loss. Alex City Internal Medicine and Nephrology and Weight Loss Center, where lifestyle changes are made.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sports Blitz Live. One segment left here. In the first hour, before we roll into hour number 2, we kind of got off track a little bit there, a couple calls. But Caitlin Clark, going back to the women's Final Four, man, just phenomenal game. When the brackets came out, everybody kind of looked at that collision course in the Elite Eight with LSU and Iowa. They played for the national championship last year, and we knew all the stuff that went on with the taunting and all that kind of stuff. You know, I did read and I saw the press conference after the game, and Angel Reese was like, pretty much said she's been miserable since last year's. She's been, attacked online,
said she was sexualized.
I mean, it's just all kind of different stuff. And then there were people firing back. Well, she, posed in bathing suits for something online and did, and it's like, look, here's the deal. And I'm sitting there thinking it's just a bunch of back and forth. And then one guy said, if you'd have won the game, you'd have been flashing L's and doing all this kind of stuff. And you've been, mouthing off at everybody all year, and you kind of brought all this on yourself and whatever. But, I could tell she was genuinely upset a little bit. But, you kind of reap what you sow, Luke. I mean, she needs to take a step back and go, well, maybe I could have acted a little bit different too. I brought a lot of that on myself and I know that Caitlin Clark may have done some stuff too. And I'm not sure. I mean, I'm sure Caitlin Clark's been. If you're in the public eye, people are going to attack you. It's just the way it is. But I just think maybe it was talking out of both sides of your mouth if it's Angel Reese.
All right, and again, it's a sticky wicket because, there'll be some people that just point at you and say, well, you're just a racist. I don't think that's what this is. Look, my daughter, who's 7, who's never watched women's basketball, but she was so excited because she had heard about Caitlin Clark just from friends, played basketball, and she was watching the game last night, and she even pointed out, and she said she didn't know who she was. She said, I can't remember what number Angel Reese is. She said, she's good.
10.
Number 10. She said, number 10 is good. And I said, yeah. And she goes, why is she trying to look so pretty? It's like because she had all this makeup on and her hair was done right. And again, if you want to do it, if you want to do it, go for it. But it's hard, like you said. It strikes a chord when you're like, hey, I'm being sexualized. Well, when you come out you're playing basketball, and you come out as if you're also on the runway. Right. It's. Again, if that's what you want to do, go for it. I am not against it. But I'm like you. I think that if they had won, I think she would have been celebrating. I think that it was miserable in the moment. I totally get the emotional moment.
The guy on there that I was seeing said, look, you lost, you played the victim.
And I kind of feel like that's right.
But you win, you're taunting everybody and all that. Hey, it is what it is.
And again, take the color out of it. I mean, I think anybody could see Caitlin Clark lost this game last year. She lost this game. Yep. I think she handled the loss better than the LSU team handled the loss this year. And that's nothing against LSU. I wasn't really pulling for either squad. I mean, I love watching Caitlin Clark just because, man, when she throws those things up from about mid-court, it's pretty incredible.
I was going to say, it doesn't matter where they put the three-point line on the floor for her.
But here's the great thing about it, all right? And, again, I think Angel Reese she welcomes some drama. I mean, I think that's okay to say.
She feeds off that.
And look, she's probably made a ton of money from it.
Of course she has.
So, again, I feel like
she's the highest NIL player in LSU.
You know what it reminds me of, Brett? There was one of the TikTokers or the social influencers from Colombia or somewhere in South America, they gave this script about how to squat in homes. And it was like just verbatim, I think it was all in Spanish, about how you can go in and become a squatter and it's difficult to get you out and blah, blah, blah. And TikTok eventually and all the other social media platforms removed him from their platform. And the next thing you know, he finally like logs in under some other name and he's crying. He's got his daughter saying, that was how I make my money, is being a social influencer. And I'm like, yeah, but you were trying to tell people how to commit a crime.
I'm going to stop you on that for just a second. We're going to kind of go off track since you brought this up. It wouldn't take me long to get a squatter out of my house.
Look, I think squatting in Alabama is going to be different than squatting in San Francisco.
Well, I understand, but I don't care where the heck you squatting. If here's a tutorial on how to squat the right way, buddy, let me tell you something.
It's a ridiculous rule.
Some of the stuff that we talk about in life right now really will make your head, you'll scratch your head till it bleeds. You just pull every bit of your hair. The fact that there's laws in California that you can go into a store and openly steal up to X number of dollar amount without anything happening. What world are we living in? I mean, I'm being honest about it.
It's awful.
Really don't understand where you got these people going into people's houses and being a squatter, and the government's like, well, they've kind of had this, and they're making the victim, turning the victims into the daggum owners.
Well, and again, there are people that push. You see a lot of YouTubers that will go into an airport and they'll try and take somebody's luggage, and then they get all upset when they're like, it's just a prank. The guy wants to knock his teeth out. But
you get what you deserve on that kind of stuff.
And that's where I'm going back with the Angel Reese thing. That I saw there was a video circulating today that she was targeted. Obviously, she had this whole thing about being sexualized. Obviously, I think she meant it. Obviously, I do have some sympathy for her. But at the same time, it was on a TikTok video that apparently she posted. That was of her.
No, I saw it. I saw it.
It was getting something done that sometimes women get done, and it wasn't showing anything dirty, but it was clear what the it had a clear inference, right? And so it's hard for me to feel sorry for you for feeling sexualized. I
just think you need
when you put. I mean, to me, it's like a Playboy model saying, hey, I need more privacy. Yes, I agree. You do need some privacy. At the same time, when you put yourself out there like that all the time, Brett, you and I are on here right now. If somebody doesn't agree with what we're saying, guess what? If we're over there walking by Carlisle's, somebody say, I didn't like what you said the other day.
Exactly right.
And we're not actually talking to that person individually, but they'll feel like it.
That's right.
And so when we're on TV, when we're on a podcast, when we're on whatever.
We put ourselves out there.
We're out there too. So we get it. And sometimes you open yourself up a little more than others. But my thing with Angel Reese is she's a fantastic player. And she can be an ambassador for women's basketball.
She can.
You know what they drew last night? You know what the ratings were for that?
It was huge.
12.4. That beat every single Major League Baseball World Series game last year. Every single one of them. That tells me something about baseball, by the way. Beat 3 out of 4 of the NBA Finals games. Wow. It beat the Purdue-Tennessee game. It beat the Masters final round last year.
Wow. It's impressive.
It's very impressive. And again, I
think what you said, and I agree, that all the stuff, the peripheral has taken away from what Angel Reese really is a phenomenal basketball player. But again, understand the territory. Here's what younger people need to understand about social media. It's not always glitz and glamour and roses. There's a bad side to this. So you got to be willing to understand. If you're willing to take in, if you're an influencer, the great comments and all that, you better be willing to accept the bashing and the finger pointing and the people that disagree with you, and not go get your feelings hurt and cry foul and act like you're a victim. It's an ebb and flow. It's the best and the worst of both worlds. You got to know that going in.
And people are going to misinterpret. And people also, there are people out there who are racist, who are going to look at Angel Reese and just hate on her no matter what. I'm telling you, I think Angel Reese is a fantastic player and has a golden opportunity to make $1 gazillion and being an ambassador for women's basketball.
Well, and I thought what she said in the press conference last night, she said, I hope that the young ladies that look up to me, I've been an influence. And I started going, yeah, maybe you have been an influence, maybe not in the best way sometimes, but But I do appreciate what she was saying. It's like, don't grind through the negative. Wake up every day to do better. And I mean, she had some great points, and we kind of saw a side of Angel Reese
that we appreciate
that we hadn't seen. Okay, this gruff, and I've got this armor on, and I'm too tough.
I'll fight you.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's okay to show that side.
I'm 100% with you, and I think it's also very legitimate to say to Angel Reese, okay, don't post any more videos of you getting waxed or whatever, whatever that was. Don't post any more videos like that if you don't want to be sexualized. Again, you can wear whatever you want to on the basketball court. You can have whatever nails you want, whatever shoes you want, whatever you want. You can do your hair any way you want to. Nobody's saying you can't. But when you do it a certain way, I'm telling you, again, when a 7-year-old little girl who's never seen you before says, why is she trying to be so – they're playing basketball. Right. It makes some sense to me. Now, I'm not saying go out there and look like you hadn't ever showered, but I'm saying at the same time, Caitlin Clark, and again – it's so.
But she looked like a girl in PE class.
Caitlin Clark,
it was what it is.
It is, and look, and the one thing that I almost feel even more sorry for Caitlin Clark, because she has become what a lot of people say. This is what everybody has to be. So it's like she can't screw up. Right. I promise you, Caitlin Clark screws up sometimes, and I promise you, she'd be the first to admit that.
Right. I think that you've always said this, and it holds true. Everybody. Like every sport, and I'm not saying Angel Reese is a villain. What I'm saying is that somebody wants, and I think she played the part well, because she said, even after an interview, after a game, she said, look, I'm from Baltimore. I'm tough, talking about a rolled ankle and stuff. And the announcer's like, I really don't know what that meant, but anyway. But I think that's kind of her mantra. She's like, it's me against everybody out here. I've got a gruff side to me. I'll take it. I'll embrace that. And maybe you say somebody else is the opposite side. But anyway, that's what makes sports so much fun. I promise you, that's what drew so many people to that game last night. I'm not taking anything away from both teams. Both teams were really good. But I'm telling you, the average fan go, oh, that was that game. There was so much drama in last year. Let's see how it goes this year. Yeah, and it drove people in.
It did, and again, so I know I might sound like I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth because I probably don't watch it without that. You're right. But now that we have watched it, now that we see that there is some serious talent, and the Juju girl for USC,
yeah, she's awesome.
Phenomenal.
Yeah. UConn had a player. She's one of the
Paige
top.
Becker.
Yeah. I mean,
and look, they've got some stars that we can capitalize on. So let's capitalize on it without.
Game,
again, I would just like to see it be capitalized upon without the kid Burns kid for NC State, for example.
Right, DJ Burns.
Just a huge, lovable guy.
Looks like a guard, offensive guard.
Yeah, he looks like a guard.
You talking about the guard? No, not the guard, but the big guy.
The big guy.
Yeah, the big guy. Yeah.
No, and what I'm saying is, what we've all seen, like the beginning, like his stories, and like he's just a lovable character. I don't think any time in there that anybody mentioned, he had it so tough as a young black male. They just talked about him as a person. And I think that's how you get beyond some of this.
Need to do,
and the Angel Reese thing, if you look at some of the people, there's some people in sports who sort of took sides, specifically with Angel Reese's side, like, well, that's just how a black female in sports has to be. No, it doesn't. You don't have to be that gruff all the time. And again, when you get beat, then if you show this sensitive side, hey, that's what I think we all appreciate. At the same time, hey, ease up on the other stuff and maybe it won't be so sensitive next time.
I just think she showed a side where she's like, okay, look, I am real. I'm human. And
I appreciate it.
I do get emotional when people attack me. I'm not this tough figure all the time. And I think that's fine. I think it's great to show that. I think
that's human.
I actually respected her a lot last night after watching her press conference.
But Burns for NC State is the kind of guy, I don't care, what nationality, what race, what gender. If you don't like that guy, something's wrong with you.
Right.
I'm telling you, he's just a lovable cat. And there's some other guys in college basketball. Filipowski, he's a villain. When
Duke's got a boatload of villains.
Well, look, let's also say when Filipowski, I would say, again, Filipowski's got sort of the Angel Reese thing going on to me, where when he got pushed, he got hit on the court storming thing, and I hate court storming, but he got hit. he overplayed his hand or overplayed his ankle.
Man, he no doubt.
You know,
well,
so
she hit him in the knee. So
and he deserved to be thrown under the bus for that a little bit, and he was. And then he had some other dirty plays where he tries to trip somebody up.
Well, Grayson Allen's one of the dirtiest players I've ever seen. Bobby Hurley was dirty. Christian Leitner was dirty. You see this thing there? Where'd they all go to school?
Yeah.
Dude, when we were growing up, Auburn, Alabama sucked. So if you wanted to follow basketball, you had to pick North Carolina or Duke. So half of my friends picked Duke, half of them picked North Carolina. I was a North Carolina guy. I've been a North Carolina guy since the late 80s, early 90s. And so, but that was, I could name Stackhouse and Montross and Rasheed Wallace. I can go down the line, all the daggum top, and all the top players for Duke, Cherokee Parks, Grant Hill. I mean, all those, because I hated them. You know, and it was either you were Carolina or Duke, and we had so much fun ribbing each other because both were, I mean, it was like the Auburn-Alabama rivalry of football and basketball. And now I'm glad we've got teams that we can pull for here in the state of Alabama and be proud for. But Duke was kind of always the villain team for me. Mike Krzyzewski versus Dean Smith or whoever. And
it does make the sport better, and you're right, I've always said that. It does make the sport better. It did make women's basketball
You're not a Duke fan, are you?
more important. No, I'd never really picked either one of them. I'll say this, though. When Duke and Carolina played, I cheered for Duke. For the most part.
Yeah.
I just like Duke more than Carolina for whatever reason. There wasn't a super reason about it. But, you know, having Angel Reese be a villain did draw eyeballs. So I think that may be positive.
And it's helped her, man. It's helped her brand. It really has.
But again, I think it has helped her. And what I'm hoping is she embraces more of the sensitive side that we saw. Not that she has to go out there and be like, I'm sorry.
No.
Nothing
She's not
like
gonna
that.
be that way.
But she can still be a fantastic player. And again, a lot of people love the new age of trash talk and yada. I'm just not a huge fan of it. I just just play.
Just go play the game.
If you win, celebrate with your team. You don't have to show the ring into somebody else's face. I mean, and that goes for Caitlin Clark too. Whoever.
John said, go out there and play basketball and celebrate, then leave the floor. She seems to foster whatever mistreatment she's supposedly getting. So again, I think that's kind of what we're saying. You kind of play into that who you are, and if it goes your way, you kind of everything's great. But when it doesn't go your way, you kind of want to play the victim. And I'm not saying she did that totally in the press conference because again, I told everybody just a minute ago I've got a lot of respect for what she genuinely said last night after the game. And you know, I think Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, they embraced after the game, hugged each other, and moved on. They kind of whispered something in each other's ear.
And here's the other thing, Brett. We're way past break time with this, so let's just keep going. But, you know, there's the whole thing about if you remember the movie The Accused with Jodie Foster.
Oh, yeah.
And remember she was dancing all provocatively. She had the shorty shorts, and then it ended up a bad night for her, obviously. And people were like, well, she should be able to wear whatever she wants to. And that is true. Nobody's saying that. And again, as a father of two daughters, we just went to the Bahamas with them, and I was like, some of the things these girls about their age were wearing, I was like, no way y'all would ever do. Y'all aren't doing that, and it's not because y'all don't look good. It's not because I don't have confidence in you, or I don't trust you. It's because you are inviting something.
Messages.
It's the same way. I mean, we had not an Uber driver, but a taxi driver in the Bahamas. They don't have Uber over there.
They don't?
No, they won't. They won't get it because they
shuts down the taxi.
Well, the cars aren't as reliable for the most part, is what the guy told me. But anyway, he said the taxi driver said there was a guy in the middle of the street, right? Like he was just standing there. Obviously, he had been into something.
Oh yeah.
Right, and he was just standing there, and cars were zipping by, and I said, boy, he said, yeah, if somebody hits him, they're going to be in trouble, you know. And he said, but you know, it's just one of those things. He said, you know, it's like me. I know I can't go to certain parts of town. He said, because my wife asked him about the alert. There was an alert put out by the U.S. Embassy about maybe not travel to the Bahamas right now.
Right.
And so my parents were worried about it, et cetera. And he said, yeah, that alert is sort of BS because it's not that anything was happening to tourists. It was all a gang violence. I said, I didn't realize y'all had such a gang problem. He said, yeah. And, you know, this is a native Bahamian. And he said, look, as small as the Bahamas are, there are still areas I ain't going to. And he said, I've lived here all my life, and I'm not going there. And he said, because I know not to go there. And he said, because if you are going there, no matter what your intention is, chances are something bad's going to happen. Just the same with if you wear something too provocative in the wrong place, you have every right to do it, but it is a risk.
Because you're rolling the dice.
And I mean, again, it's not that I'm saying nobody should have these freedoms. I'm saying bad things happen sometimes when you play into people's hands.
You can walk through a rattlesnake den if you want to.
You certainly can.
You can do that, but don't be upset if one bites you.
Right.
I mean, and I'm not saying that we're not giving credence or saying that it's right for something bad to happen, but you're just rolling the dice.
And again, nobody's blaming you. Right. Yes, nobody should do what probably won't happen to you.
There should never be any bad acts happen to any human, but we all know that doesn't happen.
And again, sometimes you can't avoid it, whatever, but what I'm saying is, I go back to what she's saying with being sexualized, that you helped create that aura. Now you want to play the victim. I'm not mad at you for it. I'm just hoping you learn from it.
Yeah, exactly. And maybe you know now what you can do to temper some of that. So, all right, we got to get the break, catch up on our sponsors. Again, I want to thank everybody for joining us out there. A lot of comments and calls tonight, and keep them rolling in. Stay tuned. More Sports Blitz Live right after this.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
When driving, wear a seatbelt, not a filter. What? Alabama has a code of the road, and knowing it helps you follow it. This is a message from your Alabama Department of Transportation.
Dixie Electric Plumbing and Air has teamed up for the 4th year with the Food Bank of East Alabama and Montgomery Area Food Bank in an effort to reduce the high percentage of food insecurity within the Montgomery and Auburn communities. For every new Dixie Cares Plan membership that is purchased, Dixie will be donating 7 meals to partnered food banks. Last year alone, Dixie donated 13,356 meals. Our goal for 2024 is 15,000. Thank you for choosing Dixie.
If you haven't been to Big B Barbecue in Alex City, then you're missing the best barbecue around. Big B has everything from the best pulled or chopped pork, chicken, and beef to cheeseburgers and grilled chicken salads. Bring your friends and family out for a great dinner and sit outside on our beautiful patio, or sit inside and enjoy your meal by the fireplace. So come in and join us and enjoy the best barbecue in the area only at Big B Barbecue, located on Highway 22 West in Alex City.
Russell Do-It Center and building supply stores have the tools and materials to get the job done right, whether you're a professional contractor or just a weekend do-it-yourselfer. With everyday customer conveniences like a drive-through lumberyard, price match promise, and our Best Rewards program, each of our 9 locations offer top brands and building materials like lumber, hardware, tools, paint, lawn and garden, and much more. Visit today and see what Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply can help you build tomorrow.
Hi, I'm Jimmy Gorey at Gorey's Furniture. Come join us for the Madness of March. Come join us here at Gorey's Furniture. Make a purchase, shoot from the line, 5, 10 to 15. That's % discount off your total ticket. So come join us. Let's have some fun. Everyone's a winner. Everyone will save. Come join us for the Madness of March, and that's only at Gorey's Furniture.
When driving, stay sober, not stoned. Alabama has a code of the road, and knowing it helps you follow it. This is a message from your Alabama Department of Transportation.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sports Blitz Live, presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill in Sunshine Heating and Air, remind everybody to be safe out there tonight. A lot of storms coming through the state of Alabama, I think top to bottom, so everybody's going to get it at some point in time. Mike said talk a little bit of Auburn football. Blake, good to hear from you out there. We appreciate the compliments. John asked how Andy was. Andy's still under the weather. We're hoping that he'll get back eventually. Andy's had a time for about 3 months, so been struggling, and hopefully and praying for him to try to rebound out there for all of you that ask and keep up. Mike, I just talked to someone that was at the practice today. You know, Auburn has A-Day on Saturday. I know a lot of people looking forward to.
You going?
I don't know yet. We got a lot of stuff going on Saturday, but yeah, I want to try to get down there. I want to see some of these newcomers that are going to be out there. But just seems like Peyton Thorne's still going to be the guy going into A-Day at least, is the number one. Now, again, don't know a lot about what Walker White's been able to do to this point. I definitely think he's going to have a legit shot moving.
Now, I saw Hugh Freeze said today that apparently Holden Gerner, you know, obviously Peyton Thorne, and then
the other one. Talking about the other kid,
the kid, Hank Brown.
Hank Brown,
and so he said those three, you know, basically moving in, but he essentially said Walker White probably won't be ready this year. That's what he said, which I thought was kind of odd. I mean, why would
that's odd to me too. Again, he, you know, highly touted. I thought, you know, again, sometimes it can be overwhelming, and I don't think anybody.
Well, and maybe you don't want to throw him out there to the Wolves too early if you're not super confident in the line.
Right. If he's not just so much better than everybody else, maybe use that year to kind of grow. I think, you know, Peyton Thorne, new offensive coordinator this year. He's seasoned, obviously. I think that's what Hugh Freeze and this staff is really looking at. So we'll see on Saturday. We may not see a lot of Walker White. May see a lot of Hank Brown. I don't think Holden Gerner.
I mean, you'd have to think one of those two will transfer.
Well, I've just seen enough. You know, I mean, I think Holden Gerner probably the guy to transfer. Auburn looking to sign one quarterback in the 25 class. I know they're pushing for KJ Lacey really hard, who's committed to Texas. And KJ Lacey and his family drove up to practice last week voluntarily. He said, you know, we kind of on spring break, didn't have anything to do, so we went up to practice, kind of see what was going on. And so I think Auburn's going to continue to push for him. I don't know if they'll end up getting him, but Auburn's going to sign one quarterback in the 25 class. Now, they're saying they want to sign 6 to 7 offensive linemen in this class. This class currently sits at 8th nationally, 9 commitments. This is according to 24/7. Have a kid named Broderick Shull coming in from Bixby, Oklahoma, on a visit, 4-star, number 22 offensive tackle in the country. A kid that's committed that everybody feels like is going to go to Georgia, and Travis Smith Jr., top wide receiver, number 11 receiver in the country, 6'4", 191 pounds.
Maybe Roy D. Mercer from Bixby?
I think so.
Yeah. I don't know if it's Bixby, Oklahoma. I don't know if he ever says the state he's from.
Oh, no, but I think you're right. So,
how big a boy are you?
Broderick Shull, pretty big, 6'5", 275. That's just a couple of recruits that have been on campus and planning official visits. There are several in the 26 class Auburn's had in and are looking. There's going to be more official visits set. Also, another tidbit of information about Auburn athletics. Pretty much it going to go with Nike as their apparel provider. I think that's a foregone conclusion. Their contract expires with Under Armour in 25, but the window to talk to other apparel providers opened up in September. And if it would have been Under Armour, Luke, I think they would have just come on out and said that. But I think Auburn will be moving away from Under Armour. They've been with them since 2006, re-signed in 2015 for $78.1 million. That expires next year. So next year will probably be the last year of outfitting of Under Armour for Auburn, and Auburn will have the Nike swoosh on their jersey, more than likely. So that's just kind of a little bit of a tidbit of an update there on Auburn. Again, we'll know more about A-Day. You don't see a lot. A-Day is a glorified scrimmage, but most of the hate is in the barn of what they want to do and work on prior to that game. It's just a fun time for fans to get out there and watch. John said, Luke, any more developments about the former UADB at Ohio State coming back to Alabama? That's Caleb Downs.
Yeah, Caleb Downs isn't coming back. That was never going to happen.
I saw a lot of talk.
That was somebody with a rumor on Twitter after
they said he took his stuff
Caden
down.
Proctor stuff. I don't know that he ever had any stuff up.
Maybe not. That's social media, man.
Social media, it spreads like wildfire, and everybody takes it as gospel. And then everybody says, I heard, blah, blah, blah. No, you saw it on Twitter just like everybody else. And so it's it wasn't happening. Ohio State the very next day, the official Ohio State Twitter page put out something like, hey, Caleb Downs, so happy you're here. We have made sure he's locked in, blah, blah, blah. So, look, maybe –
I do think there's something like people started saying if he would have come back or whatever, and this goes right along with what we've been talking about for months now. You can do that, though. If he wanted to change his mind and come back, he could. Caden Proctor did.
At what point, Brett, do you start saying that if you're if you're Kirby Smart, you send a wide receiver who's a lesser-known wide receiver to transfer to Kentucky, and they go through Kentucky spring practice, learn all their plays, learn all their –
and then come back.
And then come back. Again, I'm just pulling stuff out of the air.
But I don't think that's far-fetched. Don't think that if you're thinking that, somebody else isn't thinking that.
You literally have espionage. And it's just it's gotten pretty ridiculous. And look, Caleb, as far as Caleb Downs goes, my understanding is he really wanted to stay at Alabama. There were other forces that guided him to Ohio State. I'm not mad at him at all. Go be great. Go be great, because I think it works both ways. Alabama will get somebody that maybe was wanted to be somewhere else but was guided to Alabama by a parent or a brother or a cousin or whatever. And it's going to happen. So go be great, Caleb Downs. I'm not mad at you. I appreciate what you did. Alabama ended up getting Keon Sabb, who I like a lot, and I think they'll be fine. And look, it's not like if somebody said, hey, you can have Caden Proctor back or you can have Caleb Downs back. I know Caleb Downs is the better player. I would rather have Caden Proctor. This is a guy who started SEC games at tackle at a much more valuable position. And I can get another safety. Yes, it'll be a drop-off. I think Keon Sabb is not as good as Caleb Downs. I don't know if there is a safety as good as Caleb Downs. But that hurts me less than having to work in a new tackle that hadn't started at all. So I'm totally fine with it.
Well, kind of going in the same light with Auburn, I think the focus of Hugh Freeze and his staff to be a lot better on the lines of scrimmage. It looks like this offensive line is going to be a lot better than ones we've seen over the last several years, and they're going to be young on the defensive front, but I think they're going to be more athletic on the defensive front. And we all know games in this conference are won in the trenches and on the lines of scrimmage. So Auburn has struggled getting top recruits on the offensive line. They've done decent on the defensive line, but it's been a struggle on offensive line, and he's making this a priority. And I think you got to. It's great to have great wide receivers and great running backs and a good quarterback, but if you ain't got anybody up there to block for you, it don't matter. And so I think it starts and stops there, and you got Connor Lew, and you got Dylan Wade, and you got several of these guys that have come in and are making big impacts. Xavion Miller. Auburn's offensive line looks to be a lot better this coming year, and we'll see a little bit of it on Saturday at A-Day. Up against another break. Stay tuned. More Sports Blitz Live right after this.
If you're tired of the same old, and you're hungry for something really good, then it's time to go to JR's Sports Bar and Grill. JR's has the best fingers and wings around, and their menu is loaded with appetizers, burgers, salads, and so much more. Follow JR's on their Facebook to keep up with their live music events and drink specials. And if after a long day you just want to stay in, remember JR's delivers. Call in your order at 256-329-2328. JR Sports Bar and Grill, 145 Alabama Street in Alexander City.
Inspired by the bold bison, Southern Union students blaze new trails every single day. They press forward knowing their SU education will lead them to success. Affordable, accessible, and locally unparalleled. Whether you're transitioning to a university or launching straight into a lucrative career, a degree from SU SEC can help you blaze your path. 3 locations, dedicated faculty and staff, endless possibilities. It's all waiting for you at Southern Union. It's time to venture forward. Register today.
Lee Apparel is your go-to vendor for screen printed and embroidered apparel and promotional products. We print and embroider free custom-made graphics or outsourced designs on everything from t-shirts, headwear, corporate wear, team sportswear, high-end safety apparel, and promotional products. At Lee Apparel, you can always expect quick turnaround time, competitive pricing, friendly customer service, and free in-hands delivery on all orders. Visit us at leeapparel.com to get started.
They say we live in an age of big data, where computers and fancy algorithms are supposed to know you best. But at Country Financial, we know helping you own your future requires, well, something much bigger. Contact your local Country Financial representative and start planning for your future with a personal touch.
When you need an automotive hero, you got to call S&S Discount Tire Pros. With locations in Alexander City and Dayville, we are here to serve you today. From quick services like oil changes and tire rotations to in-depth automotive repairs such as suspensions, brakes, and tune-ups, S&S can take care of all your tire needs. You just have to focus on what's important and love the drive. Call S&S Discount Tire Pros today. We are automotive heroes, and we are here to serve you.
GlennSmith.com, the great shopping experience you'll get at our dealership. Online, GlennSmith.com. Brand new Chevrolets, brand new GMCs. GlennSmith.com. Compare pre-owned models side by side. GlennSmith.com. Get your best price every day and see everything we offer at your convenience 24/7. Glenn Smith Chevrolet GMC in Opelika, Alabama. Get ready to smile at GlennSmith.com.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sports Blitz Live, presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. A couple segments left in tonight's show. Again, we want to thank everybody for joining us. Blake said, man, this fall the gauntlet begins. Will be fun, but difficult for every SEC team. I mean, it is. I mean, you know, the tough gets tougher. I mean, this league and everything, baseball, softball, volleyball, football, basketball,
pickleball.
I mean, everything. I mean, everything's just unbelievably hard. I mean, you and I were talking about Auburn baseball, and listen to this. I mean, Auburn's 1-8. I'm not making excuses. They're off to a bad start. But dadgum, man, they're scoring like 8 runs a game, but they're losing 10-8. And their pitching's not up to par. But they after this series with Tennessee this weekend, they will have played in their first 4 SEC series 4 of the top 7 ranked teams in the country. And going into the SEC schedule, Auburn was ranked 12th.
Yeah.
And now they're out of the top 25, obviously. But, dude, I mean, they have played Vanderbilt on the road, come back home, Arkansas, number 1 team in the country. You lose 2 1-run games. You win 1 2-run game. You go out to Texas A&M this past weekend. Texas A&M's lost all of 1 game at home. They're 19-1 at home now. Auburn lost in 12 innings on Saturday. I mean, they're just the opponents have been ridiculous.
So who's after Tennessee?
They got Kentucky, who's 8-1 and leading East.
Kentucky's good.
Well, they're leading the daggum East.
Yeah.
And so
I think Alabama plays Kentucky this week.
All right, so here's the rest of the schedule for Auburn, which is a lot more favorable. I mean, but they're all still great programs. I mean, you got Mississippi State that's 4-5.
Who's come on? By the way, Mississippi State, I think, beat LSU 2-3.
And LSU's 2-7.
Yeah.
Who would have thought that? Ole Miss is 3-6. Missouri's 1-8. Alabama's 4-5. that's the latter end of the schedule for Auburn. Look at who they've played. So, yeah, it was definitely top-heavy, but that doesn't mean that any of the teams left are gimmies. They're not. They're all good. Everybody's playing good opponents every weekend, and it's literally one play in a game.
You think they make the tournament?
That's going to be close. I mean, they're going to have to.
I tell you, I think
they're going to have to do some.
You hate to say like a series in the middle of the SEC season could be pivotal, but I think they need to take 2 out of 3.
I totally agree. Yeah. I think it's time to win a series.
Yeah.
I mean, put up or shut up. You got to start some positive momentum. Last year, Auburn was the hottest team coming down the stretch. They won 12 out of their last 15. And that doesn't happen in this league very often. But, you can't rely on that every year. I'll say this, and Jason Caldwell and Luke, we've talked about this several times, and I'm not making excuses for our baseball programs. But NIL didn't help Auburn and Alabama. It's not changed. I mean, you still got 11.7 scholarships. Now other programs are giving NIL and players are making money. Auburn and Alabama are having to use NIL in baseball to make it where they don't have to pay anything. So if you're going against a top-ranked player, Alabama lost a great pitcher to LSU this year. Their top pitcher this past year transferred. He looked at Auburn, but Auburn couldn't afford him, and so LSU could. And, you look at and people can say what they want to about Brad Bohannon. And, yeah, he got caught doing it. It was bad. But Brad Bohannon wasn't out there trying to get money to put in his pocket. He was trying to get money to add to the collective of the NIL so he could go get Paul Skeens from Air Force, who ended up at LSU, ended up being the #1 player in the country. And instead, you know what he did? He said, I'm going to roll the dice because if I don't get players in here to win, they're going to fire me anyway. But instead, now, again, I'm not condoning what he did, right? He still did something unethical, but that's what you're pushing these coaches to do.
I mean, it's a lot like the Angel Reese thing. We understand, but it's you got to pay the paper.
But if you get caught,
it's trouble.
Yeah. Blake said if you can make it to 500 in SEC baseball, you've had an incredible year. No doubt. If you're 15-15 in this league, I mean, and Auburn was like, I can't remember. I think Auburn won 17.
So it's 10 series? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So that's going to be 1-8. So you can only lose 7 more games
out of the last.
Is LSU on the schedule?
Yeah, at LSU.
And see, LSU's probably going to be desperate by that point.
Well, I think all these teams. I mean,
everybody's desperate.
You look at the last 5 teams I just said: Mississippi State, LSU, Ole Miss, Missouri, and Alabama. Alabama's 4-5.
Missouri's awful.
Missouri's terrible.
They've got 1 win.
And Auburn has 1 win.
I know, but they hadn't played the same schedule.
No, they haven't. And Missouri's just not as good. I mean, the talent. I mean, Auburn's got bats. Auburn's got. The bats are great. Auburn's one of the better hitting teams in the league. Their pitching's just failing them right now, and that's just what's going on. So, John said, thanks for telling the other part of Coach Bohannon. Look, Butch Thompson loves Brad Bohannon. We had him on our show, and he didn't really want to talk about it. And I think when something breaks like that, it's easy to say. And again, I'm not condoning. I'm not giving excuses. The man made a mistake, and he's got to pay for it. But it wasn't like he was out there gambling, placing a bet on a team to make money to put in his pocket.
Yep.
He was trying to raise money to go get players so he could compete in this league. Auburn and Alabama are at a disadvantage, period. Everybody around them, the states that surround them, the schools they have to compete with in this sport have a clear advantage over them. Now, you may look at LSU and go, well, they're only 2-7 this year. Well, I don't know what they have plenty of money, and they have better state-run stuff than we have in Alabama to give them an advantage. So you can just say what you want to. It just is what it is, which makes what Butch Thompson, what he's done the last several years, even more spectacular, in my opinion. To be able to go to one super regional after another, 2 World Series, constantly hosting a regional when the cards are stacked against you. I mean, it is what it is. So it's just part of it. But anyway, baseball's rough. Softball's rough. I mean, you look at Alabama in softball right now. Alabama
just dropped 2 or 3 at Kentucky.
It's not the same team it's not like he all of a sudden doesn't know how to coach. The man's won
a national championship.
One's won 1,000 games at Alabama in 21 years. I mean, Patrick Murphy didn't forget how to coach. It's just different now with all the stuff that you have to compete with, and they're just not the juggernaut they used to be. And, You know, Auburn's got its woes, and I know Mickey Dean will be moving on and all, but look, I'm not asking people to feel sorry for Auburn. Nobody feels sorry for anybody in this league. It's like, hey, man, you figure it out, or, you know, you just take your lumps. But it's not the same in these sports. It's a different animal. It's a little better in softball because you don't have to be as deep pitching. But in baseball, when you only get 11.7 scholarships, Luke, you can't even fill the pitching staff with 11.7 scholarships. Now you got to go out and get all these players to play in the field. You got to get good bats. I mean, again, another dumb NCAA rule, but again, it's Title IX, and it just needs to be fixed. It's just another one of those things that needs to be fixed. All right, up against another break. Stay tuned. More to come right after this.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
Planting season is here, and the Potting Shed Garden Center is happy to give you professional landscaping advice when it comes to planting your shrubs and trees. Auburn's best kept secret will have it all this fall. Mums, pansies, pumpkins, and much more. All an array of colors and sizes, along with beautiful pots and containers, indoor plants, and a great selection of other gardening gifts. It's all at the Potting Shed Garden Shop, where natural elements reign supreme. Located on the corner of Moore's Mill and Society Hill Road in Auburn.
Heritage South Credit Union in Alexander City is your community credit union, and they have been for over 80 years. Heritage South Credit Union proudly serves Tallapoosa, Coosa, Lee, Chambers, Randolph, and Chilton counties. From checking to business accounts, to share savings to club accounts, to their kids club and investments. Visit them online at myhscu.com. Heritage South Credit Union, your community credit union for 80 years. Federally insured by NCUA.
Hi, this is Andrew McGreer at Dunning Roofing. At Dunning Roofing, we specialize in high-quality, premium roofs. We don't build roofs that just meet code requirements. We build quality roofs with premium materials that significantly exceed our competitors' warranties. We put money on your roof, not in our pockets. If you're looking for a top-quality roof, call Dunning Roofing today for your free quote at 256-307-7601 or visit us at DunningRoofingAL.com for more information.
Lake Martin Funeral Home and Cremation is coming soon to the corner of 280 and 49 North in Dadeville. This new 10,000 square foot facility is conveniently located to serve the residents of the Lake Martin area and its many communities. A branch of Frederick Dean Funeral Home and Crematory in Opelika, Lake Martin Funeral Home and Cremation looks forward to serving your families and your communities, as we have since 1900 at Frederick Dean. 256-750-0381.
GlynnSmith.com, the great shopping experience you'll get at our dealership. Online, GlynnSmith.com. Brand new Chevrolets, brand new GMCs. GlynnSmith.com. Compare pre-owned models side by side. GlynnSmith.com. Get your best price every day and see everything we offer at your convenience 24/7. Glenn Smith Chevrolet GMC in Opelika, Alabama. Get ready to smile at GlynnSmith.com.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sports Blitz Live. We're going to catch up on some commercials here at the end of the program in just a little bit. I want to thank all of our sponsors, especially JR, Sports Bar and Grill, and Sunshine Heating and Air for being our corporate partners on this show for a long time, and we appreciate that. Luke, we'll just go through a bunch of stuff here, but got to let you talk about the Final Four, man. Look, I'm not bitter as an Auburn guy over here. I think, I'd wanted Auburn to be there. We've been there before. But man, you're right. I mean, once your team gets over the hump, you kind of feel like you've arrived. I mean, you want to win the national championship, but getting to the Final Four is the task. You know, being able to be one of the Final Four teams in the country at that point, anything can happen. Yeah, you want to win it, but only one team's going to hoist the trophy at the end of the day. But only 4 teams get to go to the Final Four and experience this and have that. So, look, Auburn and Alabama are the last 2 teams in the SEC to make the Final Four. And you know what? If I had to pick 2 next year that have the best shot at going back, I'd pick Auburn and Alabama again. I wouldn't pick – I know we've had our L's going out early, but – you know, Auburn's just got to get better guard play. They got to figure that part out. Auburn's winning. I'll take a team that wins 26, 27 games a year and roll the dice with them rather than somebody that, you know, sporadically has a good year here and there. I'm not worried about Kentucky. Tennessee's good, but we're all competitive with Tennessee.
Tennessee's going to lose Connect. They're going to lose some of those other big, powerful dudes. Now, they're getting somebody good in the transfer portal. Florida's picking it up, although they just lost a guy who in the transfer portal to Kansas. I can't remember his name, but he was one of the starting guards. And you just never know. I mean, you don't know who's going to portal out of Alabama. You don't know who's going to come back for Auburn. You don't know what everybody's going to do right now. So you just got to wait a little bit. But, yeah, I'm really anxious about it. It's going to be a lot of fun. I think there'll be some great fan bases. UConn, I did a crossover thing with the UConn guys today, and you know, I know they'll represent NC State. There'll be a rabid fan base out there. And then Purdue, look, this is Purdue's first. I said a couple of weeks ago I didn't think Purdue had ever been to a Final Four, but they've been to
1980.
1980 was the last one.
Can you believe when they said that was 44 years ago? Almost.
I know.
I went, do what?
I know, it's insane.
They went, Purdue hadn't been to the Final Four in 44 years. When I think 44 years ago, I think 1960 something.
Oh, there's no doubt.
Now 44 years was 1980.
Yeah, I don't like that at all, by the way.
Yeah, neither do I.
But so they'll show up, and then, you know, I think here's the thing. I think Alabama and NC State will have the home court advantages. And why do I say that? Because I think that, you know, the Purdue fans will be cheering for NC State. NC State fans will be cheering for NC State. Alabama fans will be cheering for NC State, I think. And I think when UConn plays Bama, it'll be the other 3 cheering, or whoever's left from the one that lost, and then the other 2 cheering for Alabama. And just whoever shows up, they're going to want to cheer for the underdog. Now, as a college football college basketball aficionado, a lover of the sport, if Alabama weren't in this, if it were, say, pull somebody out of a hat, if it were Florida State, you know, or something.
You would want UConn Purdue.
I would want UConn Purdue.
Because somebody said that on the show today. They said if the basketball gods have their way, it'll be UConn Purdue because they've been basically the top.
They've been the best 2 teams
all year.
I'm fine with that. Again, and look, I think there's a good chance to be that. Right? I mean, I'm no fool. I think Alabama's got an uphill battle. I mean, I think if UConn and Alabama play 10 times, UConn's going to win 7 of them and probably 8 or 9. But can you do it on that one?
Blake said never thought I would see the day, but he said also I'm not ruling out beating UConn and shocking the world. Hey, you roll the ball out there, you don't play it on paper.
All you got to do, look, do what Illinois did for the first part of the first half. You know, they got it 23-0.
Don't let a 30-0
and then
run.
Don't let a 30-0 run happen. You know,
I don't think I've ever seen anything like that before.
That was bananas. And
30-0 run.
You know, you think about Alabama's going into this, and it's sort of like a team like Notre Dame going to play Alabama in 2012 in football. You know, you come out there and you're like, you can't be overwhelmed by the moment. And what I worry about is that there are so many Tide fans like me who are just so ecstatic for being there that they sort of get lost in it and maybe get overwhelmed by the moment. I'm hoping that doesn't rub off on the team. I'm getting the sense it doesn't, the way Nate Oates and the team's been talking. They're a little more loosey-goosey, certainly not cocky. Rylan Griffin even said, you know, because he made all these
but they've never, I'm going to tell you, getting acclimated to a building like that.
It's going to be something.
Shooting and that, I mean.
But that goes for UConn, too, is the only thing.
Oh, yeah.
Because.
It does.
Now,
it goes for everybody.
This is where, and this is something I was going to say about Auburn. I've been saying this for a while. I think Auburn's just got to up their game in their non-conference schedule. I mean, they just got to. I feel like that's really hurting them.
Yeah, I think they've got.
You know, you got to trade some wins on the front end for wins in the tournament. And I swear, Brett, I believe this with all my heart. And I've read the Philip Marshall articles, which are just bunk, where he's like, you know, when maybe Auburn was tired, they get to the. Look, do you know there have been 2 SEC tournament champions since I think 07? that didn't make it to either the second round or the Sweet 16. Auburn this year and Georgia when they won it as the last place team in the
right.
And so
Auburn absolutely laid a no, I'm not listening to any of that.
Yeah.
Auburn laid an egg. I'm not beyond coming out and criticizing when you deserve criticism. Auburn had 2 double-digit leads late in the game and blew them.
You got to win. It doesn't matter if Chad Baker's there or not.
It don't matter. Just got to win the daggum game. Now, what he did set things in a spiral. Sure. Auburn recovered from that. Should have still ended up winning that game going away.
But I believe that, again, like Alabama's, and they lost all these big games. They lost Purdue. They lost Arizona. But they went on the road and played them, and I think it made them tougher on the backside.
Sure.
And that's where I think that Auburn needs to do a better job. Yes, you can say, hey, it's cool we play Indiana and Atlanta. When's the last time Indiana did any darn thing?
No, they ain't done anything.
I mean, Alabama and Auburn are both better programs than Indiana right now, and I don't think that's debatable.
Yeah, it's not even close. I said that on the show yesterday.
They just lost their best commitment. Liam McNeely just decommitted from Indiana. So even the guys they were getting aren't going there right now. So I'm not taking a shot at Indiana necessarily.
No, Auburn, I think that's how you get better. You can say, well, we won the SEC tournament. That's great. It's awesome when you do something like that. 27 wins, you had a great year. But any team is not – you're not beyond evaluation and looking at how you get over that next level. How do you get back to the Sweet 16? How do you get back to the Final Four? What can we tweak? I talk about the documentary with Fife all the time that we did through Hometown Heroes. And Paul Benefield said – we had a boatload of red trophies. We got to the championship game, couldn't get over the hump. So I scrapped everything we were doing, changed it, and everybody was like, what is he doing?
Yeah.
Why is he doing that? And then all of a sudden they started winning blue maps. Sometimes it's the least little thing that you can do, and I think it really, one of the things that you said, I think maybe a little bit tougher schedule on the front side, but get better guard play. The last time Auburn had great guard play was in 19. When you had Jared Harper, when – the game was on the line. It didn't matter who it was. He's like, everybody clear out of the way, let me have it. And he could get to the goal or he could pull up, make a shot, whatever. Auburn ain't had a guard like that since. And they've had some good ones. And, maybe Aiden Holloway pans out to be one. He wasn't this year. Now, he was a freshman, but whatever. Auburn's got to get better point guard play. I think our shooting guard plays okay. But I think you got to get better play out of your point guard.
Yeah, and look, the other thing is there is no magic elixir for getting there. I mean, you've seen teams win the SEC tournament, and you've seen teams use that as a springboard. Auburn in 19 used that as a springboard.
They did.
And then this year,
it backfired. It was totally opposite of that.
Yeah, and so that tells me, okay, it's not the tournament. And then I do think you're right about the guard play because – when's the last time a big man truly took somebody all the way through the tournament? I mean, the only one I can think of is Danny Manning back in '88.
Right, and now you're looking at 80 right now.
There may be somebody else that I'm just forgetting, but for the most part, I think I've seen that guard from UConn take a UConn team that was like 7 or 8 seed didn't go all the way. I've seen some guards do that, so I think you're right about that. But I do think it also helps to beef up that non-conference schedule and get take some of your lumps early.
Right.
And, in the middle when it was happening, I was like, man, this team's got to turn it around a little bit. But I was also like, hey, the schedule's going to lighten up and they'll be better for this later.
Right.
And it turned out they were. You just got to be patient. Right. We don't know. Sports fans don't have any patience anymore.
No, you want it yesterday. I mean, that's just the bottom line. Well, that's going to wrap it up. I want you to hang around again. We appreciate everybody for joining us here on this Tuesday. Again, weather's rough out there. Make sure you're safe wherever it is that you're driving. We'll be back with you tomorrow for another edition of Auburn Blitz. We'll be back with you on Saturday for Saturday Sports Countdown. We appreciate all of you that tune in each and every day, provide commentary, interaction through phone and Facebook Live. But going to take our last break of the show. Stay tuned. More to come after this.
OGS Tournaments presents Crank for Bank. Win over $1.6 million in cash and prizes. Over 200 tag bass and 75 tag crappie are waiting to be caught by you in Lake Martin. Register now online at crankforbank.com for only $120. All ages are welcome. Fish from the dock, boat, or the shores of Lake Martin to win over $1.6 million in cash and prizes. It's Crank for Bank.
There's a new standard for the marine industry on Lake Martin, being set by Momentum Marine Lake Martin. Momentum Marine is located at the Blue Creek Bridge on Highway 49 South. Stop by soon and meet Les and the staff. While you're here, take a look at our extensive line of boats. Momentum Marine carries Crest, Manitou, Centurion, Monterey, and Robalo boats. Whatever your boating needs or dreams, the pros in Momentum will help you find the perfect boat. Be sure to ask about our brand new rental fleet. Stop by Momentum soon and experience the difference. Let Momentum Marine show you how to experience freedom on the water.
At C&T Electric, our clients are our priority. For the safety and security of your family and home, our technicians are professionally trained, drug tested, background checked, and wear uniforms with name tags. We're proud to have served the Elk City, Dadeville, and Lake Martin areas for the past 10 years. Give us a call at 256-234-0007 for all your electrical service and repair needs, or visit us on the web at www.cntelectricllc.com and spell out the word "and."
The food at Oscar's Cafe makes your mouth water. At Oscar's, enjoy great tasting catfish, or maybe you're just in the mood for one of Oscar's fresh salads. Even kids know the place for a fine meal is Oscar's with a great kids menu. Oscar's also has great tasting burgers full of backyard flavor. So come on out to Oscar's Cafe for great food and homegrown hospitality. We're located on Highway 49 South in Dadeville, just before the Blue Creek Bridge. And remember, it's all fun and games till there's only one cheese ball left.
Inspired by the bold bison, Southern Union students blaze new trails every single day. They press forward knowing their SU education will lead them to success. Affordable, accessible, and locally unparalleled. Whether you're transitioning to a university or launching straight into a lucrative career, a degree from SU SDC can help you blaze your path. 3 locations, dedicated faculty and staff, endless possibilities. It's all waiting for you at Southern Union. It's time to venture forward. Register today.
OGS Tournaments presents Crank for Bank. Win over $1.6 million in cash and prizes. Over 200 tag bass and 75 tag crappie are waiting to be caught by you in Lake Martin. Register now online at crankforbank.com for only $120. All ages are welcome. Fish from the dock, boat, or the shores of Lake Martin to win over $1.6 million in cash and prizes. It's Crank for Bank.
76% of nurses say they went into the profession because they wanted to help patients. No matter the reason you decided to become a nurse, you have all the tools needed to advance your degree at Jacksonville State University. Our Master's in Nursing program is now offered fully online and can be completed in less than 2 years. You can customize a flexible course schedule so you can receive your advanced education degree all while working on the front line. JSU Nursing, your opportunity to advance your career and serve your community.
When drinking, take a sober ride home, not someone's life. Alabama has a code of the road, and knowing it helps you follow it. This is a message from your Alabama Department of Transportation.
At Russell Medical, we're proud of our exceptional nurses, like Nurse Brandy Worthy. Brandy represents the selfless, compassionate clinical leader patients expect and coworkers admire. Brandy was recently honored with the Nightingale Award for Nursing Excellence for her high standards, sound judgment, and caring manner. Her passion for her profession inspires us all.
Being a nurse is not just what you do, it's who you are. I'm proud to be a part of the nursing team at Russell Medical. We are the link between all hospital services, providing you with exceptional, personalized care.
If you're tired of the same old and you're hungry for something really good, then it's time to go to JR's Sports Bar and Grill. JR's has the best fingers and wings around, and their menu is loaded with appetizers, burgers, salads, and so much more. Follow JR's on their Facebook to keep up with their live music events and drink specials. And if after a long day you just want to stay in, remember JR's delivers. Call in your order at 256-329-2328. JR Sports Bar and Grill, 145 Alabama Street in Alexander City.
Main Street Family Urgent Care.
Main Street Family Care offers a wide array of services that allows them to treat many conditions, and they also offer primary care. In addition to these services, they also offer DOT physical exams, lab testing, sports physicals, and vaccines. They accept most major insurance plans, including Medicaid. Main Street Family Care open 7 days a week.
Main Street Family Urgent Care. Heal better, feel better fast.
SignSource is your local vendor for commercial and residential sign manufacturing and installation.
We offer all kinds of lighted and non-lighted signage, from retail signs, LED message centers, event banners, vehicle wraps, the whole spectrum. We also offer service and repair on existing signs, as well as retrofitting to LED or installation of outsourced signage. We have the knowledge necessary to fulfill all of your signage needs in the short or long term. Visit signsourcenow.com to get started.
Fill your tank, not your wine glass. What? Why is there a wine glass in your car? Alabama has a code of the road, and knowing it helps you follow it. This is a message from your Alabama Department of Transportation.
If you listen carefully, you'll hear the roads of Alabama calling. And Sarah Honda has your answer. Serving you for over 40 years with one of the largest Honda and pre-owned inventories in the state, and the Sarah Promise. Our best deal when you buy or trade, a 72-hour exchange policy, a no-hassle trade-in promise. Written offers are good for 7 days. And our best service promise. Our factory-certified technicians help keep your vehicle running smoothly. That's why Alabama can be yours to discover in a new vehicle from Sarah Honda in Sylacauga.
Farmers and Merchants Bank of Dadeville is building a foundation of strength and trust in the entire Lake Martin community. With our modern branch in Dadeville and caring, attentive staff, we've established Farmers and Merchants Bank as a reliable friend to your banking needs. Whether it's just a savings or checking account or any commercial, auto, or real estate loan, Farmers has local decision-making to build a relationship with you and your needs. Farmers and Merchants Community Bank. Strength, service, community.
Lee Apparel is your go-to vendor for screen-printed and embroidered apparel and promotional products. We print and embroider free custom-made graphics or outsourced designs on everything from t-shirts, headwear, corporate wear, team sportswear, high-end safety apparel, and promotional products. At Lee Apparel, you can always expect quick turnaround time, competitive pricing, friendly customer service, and free in-hands delivery on all orders. Visit us at leeapparel.com to get started.
This is Kalijah Country, Lake Martin's best country. Kalijah Country 97.5.
Country look good on you. Tearing up on 2 way down in Alabama, where they love me say, trying to write a song. The local country station will play.
Lake Martin's best country. Kalijah Country 97.5.
There's a new standard for the marine industry on Lake Martin, being set by Momentum Marine Lake Martin. Momentum Marine is located at the Blue Creek Bridge on Highway 49 South. Stop by soon and meet Les and the staff. While you're here, take a look at our extensive line of boats. Momentum Marine carries Crest, Manitou, Centurion, Monterey, and Robalo boats. Whatever your boating needs or dreams, the pros in Momentum will help you find the perfect boat. Be sure to ask about our brand new rental fleet. Stop by Momentum soon and experience the difference. Let Momentum Marine show you how to experience freedom on the water.
Are you waking up in the morning with a sore jaw, headaches, maybe even ringing in your ears, all because you're grinding and clenching your teeth at night? That's exactly what was going on with me. That's when I found this, the Sportz Night Guard. Now, the Sportz Night Guard redirects the bite force away from the back teeth, reducing jaw pain while still protecting the teeth. This unique design is what makes Sportz Night Guard different from all other traditional grind guards. Go to BruxNightGuard.com and order yours today.
Farmers and Merchants Bank of Dadeville is building a foundation of strength and trust in the entire Lake Martin community. With our modern branch in Dadeville and caring, attentive staff, we've established Farmers and Merchants Bank as a reliable friend to your banking needs. Whether it's just a savings or checking account or any commercial, auto, or real estate loan, Farmers has local decision-making to build a relationship with you and your needs. Farmers and Merchants Community Bank. Strength, service, community.
Lee Apparel is your go-to vendor for screen-printed and embroidered apparel and promotional products. We print and embroider free custom-made graphics or outsourced designs on everything from t-shirts, headwear, corporate wear, team sportswear, high-end safety apparel, and promotional products. At Lee Apparel, you can always expect quick turnaround time, competitive pricing, friendly customer service, and free in-hands delivery on all orders. Visit us at leeapparel.com to get started.
This is Kalijah Country, Lake Martin's best country. Kalijah Country 97.5.
Country look good on you. Tearing up on 2 lane 2
Martin's best country. Elijah Country 97.5.
There's a new standard for the marine industry on Lake Martin, being set by Momentum Marine Lake Martin. Momentum Marine is located at the Blue Creek Bridge on Highway 49 South. Stop by soon and meet Les and the staff. While you're here, take a look at our extensive line of boats. Momentum Marine carries Crest, Manitou, Centurion, Monterey, and Robalo boats. Whatever your boating needs or dreams, the pros in Momentum will help you find the perfect boat. Be sure to ask about our brand new rental fleet. Stop by Momentum soon and experience the difference. Let Momentum Marine show you how to experience freedom on the water.
Are you waking up in the morning with a sore jaw, headaches, maybe even ringing in your ears, all because you're grinding and clenching your teeth at night? That's exactly what was going on with me. That's when I found this, the Sportz Night Guard. Now the Sportz Night Guard redirects the bite force away from the back teeth, reducing jaw pain while still protecting the teeth. This unique design is what makes Sportz Night Guard different from all other traditional grind guards. Go to BruxNightGuard.com and order yours today.